Alright guys, let's talk about the equation of a line. So if you want to figure out the equation of a line, what do we need? We need a point on the line and we need the slope of the line. But let's say you're not given a point on the slope, you're just given 2 points. Well, you can figure out the slope by taking the change in y over the change in x. That way you would have the slope and you can just use one of those points and you would have a point. So now let's take a look at the different forms of line equations. So equation forms. So we have something called the point slope form, which is denoted by y minus y naught is equal to mx minus x naught. Well, m is just the slope, x naught and y naught, this is a point on the line, and x and y are your variables. Then we have something called the standard form. The standard form is ax plus by is equal to c, where an x and y are the variables and a, b, c are just constants. And then you have something called the slope-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope, b is the y-intercept, meaning this is where the line touches the y-axis, and x and y are your variables. Now let's take a look at this example here. So we're given a line here, and we're asked what is the equation of the line below. Well, we know that this line has a point here at 0, 4, and we know this line has a point at negative 6, 0. I picked 0, 4 and negative 6, 0 because these are convenient points. Technically, I could have picked any point I wanted, but I just picked the two convenient points here. So the first thing we need is we need to figure out the slope, and we also have a point. So let's figure out the slope. So the slope is change in y over the change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I can say this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. y2 is 4 minus 0 divided by x2, which is 0, minus negative 6, which is x1. 4 minus 0 is 4 over 0 minus negative 6, which is positive 6. 4 over 6 could be simplified and rewritten as 2/3. So the slope is 2/3. So we want to write the equation of a line, and let's write it with the point slope format first. So in point slope format, we have y minus y naught is equal to m x minus x naught. Well, what's the slope? The slope is 2/3, and x naught, y naught, this is just a point. I can just pick any point I want. I'm going to just use this one, negative 6, 0. So my point is negative 6, 0, and my slope is 2/3. Plugging in the numbers, what do we get? Y minus 0 is equal to m, which is the slope, 2/3, x minus 6, which is x plus 6. This is your point slope form. Okay. The next one is, let's do the next one as the slope-intercept form. So in slope-intercept, what do we have? Y is equal to mx plus b. Well, m is the slope. The slope is 2/3. Y is equal to 2/3 x plus b. But how do we get b? The b is the y-intercept. Pretty much where this line touches the y-axis, right? And we can see it touches the y-axis here at y is equal to 4. Or I'm sorry, yeah, at y is equal to 4. So I can take one of these points and plug it into the equation, or I can just read it off the graph. Here it's very easy. We can see it touches the y-axis at 4. But I can take one of these points and plug it into the equation. So let's take this point 0, 4 and plug it in and see what we get. So the point I want to use is 0, 4. Y is equal to 2/3. Not y, sorry. Y is 4 is equal to 2/3 x, which is 0, plus b. Solving for b, this is just 0. Solving for b just gives us 4. So I can write my slope-intercept form as y is equal to 2/3 x plus b, but b is 4. So I can write this as plus 4. This is my slope-intercept form. The last form is standard form. Okay, now let's go back to our equation. Ax plus by is equal to c, where x and y are the variables and a, b, and c are constants. So let's write that down. To get this equation in standard form, I need a number attached to x, I need a number attached to y, and this must be equal to some random constant. So let's start with the point slope form, so which is y is equal to 2/3 x plus 4. We want to simplify this and make this equation kind of look like that. So you want to turn this equation and make it look like that. Well, how can we do that? Let's rewrite this by simplifying this fraction. We have a 3 in the denominator, and we want to get rid of this fraction. So to get rid of the fraction, we want to multiply this whole equation by 3. If I multiply this whole equation by 3 and distribute the 3, we're going to have 3 times that, 3 times that, and 3 times that. So 3 times y just gives you 3y is equal to 3 times 2/3. Well, the 3 and the 3 in the denominator cancels out, and we're going to have 2x is equal to, not equal to, plus 3 times 4, which is 12. Again, to make it look like this, we need to isolate the constant, right? So to isolate the constant, we want to subtract 2x from both sides. And we will have 3y minus 2x is equal to 12. And this is your standard form.